Okay, so in this video what I'm going to be showing you is how to do curves in isometric. You've already seen how to draw a cube using the isometric grid, and you've done some rendering practice as well to make things look realistic like they're in plastic. But this time, so far we've only done straight lines, so we're going to do curves, and we're going to use one of these ellipse templates in order to draw what will look like circles, but because it's in isometric, slightly distorted, okay, because isometric, as you know, has no perspective to it, okay? So because it's slightly distorted, in order to make it look like a circle, it's actually an ellipse, okay? So we're going to use one of these templates. If you haven't got one of these templates, there's ways around it, and I'll show you that as we go on, okay? But this is the easiest way to do it. You will notice on the template that they have lines or little marks around the ellipse, okay? And what you have to do is line these up with the lines on the grid. So I'm looking at this center line across there. Ideally there'd be a line in the middle there, but I've done this an odd number, okay, as it goes across. So what I'm going to have to do is just sort of put that roughly in the center. Now it will go sort of diagonal like that. Don't draw it perfectly straight up like that, that's going to look wrong. You need to do it on the diagonal like this, and I'm lining up these two marks with this line on the grid here, and once that's lined up, something like that, and I'm looking at this now, these two little marks, I'm not seeing quite right, so I'm going to nudge that across a little bit, and once that's all sort of lined up, so you've got this coming down, that going across that way, and then very quickly you can draw that, okay? If you're going to do it on the other side, obviously if we did it the same way and they're both pointing the same way, that's going to look wrong because that's going off that way, that's going off in the opposite direction, so we need to angle our grid in the opposite direction, okay? So once again, lining up these marks with the lines on the grid, and if we've done the center line as that one, and it's going to be this one here that we're going to work off this time, okay? So 32 size. So line that up, these look almost there, and again very quickly you can just draw that in. Now it's starting to resemble something like a speaker, and you could imagine those two holes are the speakers. If you wanted to add a bit of 3D, once you've got that there, you can just move it off center slightly, and this time just do half like that, yeah, and we'll go the other side and do the same thing on the other side, something like, move it very slightly, something like that, okay? So now it's got a thickness, you can see the thickness of the material is there, okay? You could then remember, thick lines will always be where, if you could get your hand in there or your finger in there, you'd be able to get behind that edge. You won't be able to get behind that edge, this one here, yeah, because it's got the material in the way, but you'd have a thick line here, you'd have a thick line here. So again, you can use a template and just line that up. I'm just going to go over this a second time just to make it visibly thicker. Give it a thick line. I might don't want to leave a gap, so I'm just going to fill that gap in, something like that. Okay, and do the same this side. There we go. Next video I'm going to show you how to do that without the template.